Hey guys, I'm Ariana. If you're new here, if you're not, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to get this beautiful fall inspired half cut crease look. This is what we're starting off with. I only have like foundation and concealer on my eyes. So the palette that I used today was the Amrezy Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, and I only used 3 colors to get this look. I used this dark brown shade and this kind of transition orangey peachy shade, as well as this kind of pumpkin orange shade. If you don't have this palette, it's totally fine. I'm sure you can find these colors somewhere in your collection. So the first thing that I went ahead and did was I kind of packed on that dark brown shade onto my crease and kind of lined the whole entire crease with the same consistency and the same amount of pigment. I wanted a really nice even crease situation going on. I also kind of blended it out toward my eyebrows. So to do this, I kind of just released some pressure from the brush onto my eyes and kind of just like went back and forth and kind of tried to make it dissipate up toward the brow bone. I then kind of cleaned off my brush. This is a color switch. I will leave this link down below. I love this thing so much. So basically I'm just like taking off all of the pigment that's on the brush so I can use the same exact brush and not have like a muddy mess everywhere of eyeshadow. So I'm just kind of like going over the outer edges of the pigment and kind of blending it out. So this is what it looks like. Then I went ahead and did the same thing on the other side as well. So like I said, I kind of concentrated on getting a good even amount of pigment on the whole entire crease area, and then I kind of blended it and buffed it out as it went toward the brow bone. So I like to add the like darkest shade on the crease shade first and then kind of blend out the edges and add the second shade on top of that, just because I feel like it makes it so much easier to blend together. So here I'm doing exactly that. I'm kind of like releasing the pressure as I get higher toward the brow bone. This is what it looks like versus blended and not blended. So this is me blending out the edges again, and then I went ahead and added that kind of peachy orange shade next and blended that into this kind of darker brown shade to kind of get a really nice blend and transition as we go up toward the brow bones. So if you want, you could leave it like this, but I went ahead and added a little bit more of like some orange tones, but that would be perfectly fine if you did just leave it like that. I mean, like, good blending just makes everything look really nice anyway. So I went in with a different brush to kind of add in that peachy orange shade, and this is me kind of buffing it in. Like I said, blending out the edges from the first color makes it super easy to apply and blend the second shade and have a really nice seamless kind of transition from color to color. So I am just kind of like swiping that on, and I'm also kind of taking the shade into the beginning of my brow as well, just because I kind of want to go with the flow of my eye shape. And I'm also kind of taking that peachy shade and dragging it out toward my temples just to kind of elongate and uplift my eyes as well. So I'm doing that with this lighter shade as opposed to the darker shade, just to make it look a little bit more natural. This is what it looks like all blended out with 2 colors, and then I went ahead and took more of that dark brown shade and kind of packed it onto the outer edge of my eye. So this is me just defining and adding a little bit more definition by adding some more darkness to the outer area, and I'm putting this onto my actual lid instead of just keeping it on my crease, and I am kind of blending it into that dark brown crease that we have going on, as well as kind of defining that outer V area as well. So like I said, my whole goal here is to kind of uplift and go with my eye shape. So after I did that, I went ahead and took some concealer. This is the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. You can take any concealer that is actually really light or white, and carve out your eyeshadow. So I started with the inner corner, and I'm kind of like carving out my eyelid, and I'm stopping 3/4 of the way, and then I'm just completely filling my eyelid in. So I like to kind of create the bulk and like the whole entire outline of it, and then I like to go in and refine and clean up the lines and make sure that it looks really nice and crisp. I also like to add a really dark shade in the crease just so I can get a really nice contrast when I do carve out my lid, which is why I put the dark brown shade in the whole entire crease and like brought it into the inner corner as well, so that when I did cut my crease, there was a really nice contrast between the 2 shades next to each other after I fill in the concealer with shadow. So I did the same exact thing on the other side. I also want to mention that I like open my eyes and look in the mirror just to make sure you can see it when I do open my eyes. I know this is a lot of people with hooded eyes have that issue as well. So after I apply the whole entire outline and cut the crease and everything, I'm going in with this Real Techniques brush and kind of blending out the concealer and just making sure that everything is nice and even, so I have a beautiful blank canvas to apply the shade on, which is also going to make sure that when I do apply the shadow it's not patchy at all. So that is very important. Definitely do that if you are doing a cut crease. Then I went in with that last orange, like pumpkin orange shade from the palette, and I'm just literally filling in the entire concealer area with this. So I'm using that first brush that I used to apply that dark brown shade, and I'm just like literally packing it on and filling that whole space. And this brush was a little bit too big to kind of like get into that crease area, that little gap over there, without kind of like smudging the line, and I did want the line to be pretty precise. So I ended up switching brushes, and this is me trying to make it work, but like I couldn't get the amount of pigment that I wanted, so I switched to this kind of pencil brush, and this did the trick. So I just went ahead and filled in that gap, and then I did the same thing on the other side. So like I said, if you don't have this palette, you can definitely use, I'm sure you have like an orange shade or lying around somewhere, but I feel like oranges look really pretty on brown eyes, so I really like the way that this look came out, but I'm going to show you guys how I got there. After I finished filling in the gap, it should look something like this. You don't have to worry about blending out the edges yet. So I went ahead and did the other side as well, and I don't know why I'm being so aggressive, but I just went ahead and did the other side. So after I filled in all of the concealer with the orange shade, I went back in with that dark brown shade and this little shader brush, and then I kind of just tried to blend the two shades next to each other together. So I kind of alternated between using the dark brown shade and then using the orange shade on the same brush without cleaning it, just to get like a really nice even blend. Also want to mention, if it's not blended 100%, that's totally fine. Like I could have blended it better, but I didn't really care. It really doesn't matter as long as it's like okay. I mean, it's fine, it's just makeup. So after I finished that, I went ahead and kind of cleaned up the outer corner with concealer. So this is a LA Pro Girl concealer, which is kind of the same shade that's of the concealer that I'm using under my eyes. You want to make sure when you do this, you are using a concealer that matches whatever's going on under your eyes, so it blends easily. And then I just use this to kind of clean up the outer edge, make everything look nice and symmetrical, and also uplift my eye shape as well. After I finished applying the concealer and made sure that it was even, I went in with my Real Technique brush and kind of just blended it away. Then moving on to the lower lash line, I added some black liner in my waterline, and I also kind of smudged it and made sure that it was kind of in my waterline as well as on my lash line, because that's going to make it easier to kind of smudge out and make it nice and smoky. So definitely try to get this on your lash line as well if you are going for this beautiful like smoky brown eye popping look. So after that, I took the dark brown shadow on an angled brush and I just ran that across my lash line while also trying to smudge the black liner as well and kind of blend everything together. This is kind of gonna drag that black out a little bit further from your waterline and add more depth and definition to your eyes, which I absolutely love, which is also another little trick to kind of making your eye color pop. So after I put that dark brown shade, I went in with the same angled brush and put that peachy orange shade or the pumpkin orange shade. I don't think it makes a difference, but I just ran that under the last shade as well, and just to make sure that I concentrated some orange there, and then just to make it like really smoky and blended. And then the last thing I did was just ran some more orange under that to make it look as like blown out as possible. So that was it for the eyeshadow look. That's basically all that I did. I went in with mascara and lashes. So the lashes are definitely optional. This is me with mascara, and I also put mascara on my lower lash line, which I do not often do, but I felt like it looked really good with this look. It just like brought it together as well. And these are my lashes. Also want to mention that eyeliner is optional. If you want to do a wing, definitely go for it, but I was focusing more on the eyeshadow for this look. But this is how it came out. I really, really, really love it. It looks so good, and I feel like it really brings out my brown eyes, even though it's like kind of monochromatic with the same like color scheme that's going on. I feel like this is very fall, and I'm very proud of this. It looks super, super cute, and it was super easy to do. So let me know what you guys think. If you do recreate this, definitely tag me. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you have any other video suggestions, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!